Hi and welcome to OwnerRez. This video in the Setup Checklist series will walk you through setting up your regular, seasonal, and holiday rates. Please note that if you're planning to integrate with a dynamic pricing tool from the beginning, you do not need to go through all the steps to set up any seasons, holidays, or rates within OwnerRez. We offer integrations with several different industry-leading dynamic pricing partners such as PriceLabs, Wheelhouse, Beyond, and more. If you want to utilize dynamic pricing, you can find a full list of all our integrations at ownerrez.com/integrations. To set up your seasons, holidays, and rates, start by selecting settings on the bottom far left of your menu bar. Next, navigate to pricing and select rates. If you performed the listing content import from either Airbnb or VRBO, you might have imported existing spot rates from these channels. If that's the case, you will now want to set up your rates for future bookings. If you're listing your property from scratch, there should be no rates listed on your calendar. Rates are broken up into two sections: seasonal rates and spot rates. Seasonal rates are helpful if you have particular rates for certain times of the year or for specific days during the year, such as ski season, Oktoberfest, or trout season. Spot rates are rates that you set for individual nights. If you hover over a date on the calendar, you'll see the following items: the rate amount, your minimum nights rule, your maximum nights rule, availability, arrival and departure rules, and configuration problems. In this case, it is showing that there's a missing rate because we haven't set up any rates yet for the specific date. To set a spot rate, select the date you would like to edit, and select the Set Rates green button at the top. Next, select your nightly amount, and select Update. Next, select Rules while this is still highlighted. And here you can change your minimum nights, maximum nights, and changeover. For this example, we'll set the minimum nights to 2. Once you're finished, select Update. One helpful tip is once your pricing is set, you can go back into Set Rates, and you can adjust your nightly amount by percentage amount. Please note that setting spot rates and spot rate rules like minimum nights take precedence over any seasonal rules that you may have set up under seasons or at the property level. Once you are finished setting up your rates, if you add additional properties and would like to copy the rates to the new property, you can easily do so by selecting Batch Copy Rates at the top. Here, you'll just select your source property where you're copying the rates from, select the property that you're copying the rates to, choose from the additional options, and then select Copy. To set weekend and seasonal rates, go back to Rates and select the Seasonal Rates tab at the top. The default season in your account is set up for January 1st through December 31st. You'll also see on this page that your properties will be abbreviated. To set nightly rates and weekend rates, highlight and click the property column and season row you would like to edit. For this example, we will set the default season rates for the property abbreviated to AR. Make your selection and select Set Rates. Here you'll put your nightly rate and your weekend night rate. Once finished, select Update. To edit this default season and to add additional ones, just select Seasons on the left menu bar and select Create Season at the top of the page. Here you'll also see any seasons you have set up in your OwnerRez account, and you can make quick changes just by selecting the season. Let's take a look at creating a brand new season. First, select the name of your season. For this example, we'll say Oktoberfest. Select recurring if the dates are exactly the same every year, or select specific dates if they may change year after year. Next, select the start and end date of the season, and then select whether you would like it to apply to all your properties or only specific properties in your portfolio. If you have payment or length restrictions specific to the season, you can enter those here. And then in changeover restrictions, you can set the days that guests can arrive or depart. You can also disallow bookings that would create an unfavorable gap in disallowed gaps. Once you're finished, select Save. The newly created season will now be visible. Now, if you go back to the Rates section, you can set the nightly rates for the season you just created. To do so, select Seasonal Rates, highlight the season and property that you would like to set the week and weekend nights for, make your selection, and just like before, select Set Rates. Here you will set your nightly rate during the week, and then select a week and night rate. Once you're finished, select Update. Next, go back to the calendar to see your updated rates. Remember, any spot rates and rules you set will override everything else. If you've created a spot rate, you can easily change it or delete it, and the rate will return to the seasonal rate. Holidays are the perfect time to optimize your rates and to take maximum advantage of the increased demand. The rules surrounding holidays can be a little bit complicated, which is why OwnerRez has created a few different ways for vacation rental operators to approach these periods of increased demand. To start, click on Holidays on your left sidebar, and this is where you'll select the list for holidays that apply to your property's location. You can also create a custom holiday by selecting the Create Custom Holiday button here. If you click on the Options button at the top of your page, here you can control observance periods before and after the holiday, and choose to include the entire weekend if the holiday is in or adjacent to a weekend. The holidays and extra days assigned on this page will be used to determine when your holiday minimum stay length rules apply, which is found and configured in the Rules section of each property. Not all holidays have the same demand, so it doesn't usually make sense to have a single holiday rate. The best way to maximize the potential of your holidays is to create a season for each holiday, or several in a row with its own rate that overrides the default rate. This can be done using seasons and seasonal rates like we just went over before. There's one more approach to setting holiday rates that's the simplest. To perform the simplest options, just manually note which dates surrounding a holiday will have the increased demand in your area, and then just set a specific spot rate like we went over before. When you're finished setting up your holidays, season, and rates, go to the Rates page and make sure that everything looks correct. When you're ready to continue on to the next step in the setup checklist, please watch our additional pricing settings videos. Thanks for choosing OwnerRez.